Hey everybody, welcome to the Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast, where we are back with another interview episode. This interview series is called Behind the Ring, and so before we get to the episode, Josh, you come on in, bro.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the assassin, Josh Dinger. Welcome back to Crash and Burn Behind the Ring. We have a very special guest here today. Talk some wrestling, a lot of stuff going on, and possibly we're going to joke around. So let's get into things.
Yep, so Lucas, come on in next.
Yeah, it's my second time doing an interview. Last time we did an interview with Amy Cribson. It's good to have another interview going on. So yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Last but not least, he's our guest, Benjamin Banks. What's up, man?
Yo, what's good? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks. Guys, thank you for having me on the podcast. I really appreciate it because it's been a while since I've been a guest on somebody's podcast. I want to say possibly January, February. Yes, February was the last time I was a guest on somebody's podcast. So thank you so much for asking me to be a guest. I usually do my own thing on my podcast, Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And, you know, I'm used to always sliding in DMs, but it was one of you guys who slid in my DMs and asked me, hey, do you want to come on the pod? And I was just like, yo, let's do it. So thank you for having me up here.
Yeah, so basically how this works, the three of us will go around, ask a question, like we'll take turns basically.
Okay.
And then once we hit the outros, you're welcome. You are absolutely allowed to promote anything you want.
Okay, cool.
So you're welcome to advertise your podcast at the end.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll start this off. When have you decided you wanted to be a wrestler?
You said what was the question again? I'm sorry.
When have you made the choice to become a wrestler?
Okay, so pretty much what happened was I was in high school, and it was one of those things where it's like, you know, what do I want to do once I graduate high school? You know, it's like most people, it's like they want to be a doctor or a lawyer, or they want to get into basketball or football. But it's like I wanted to be a professional wrestler. Now, unfortunately, at the time when, I want to say it was 2004. Yeah, 2004, I was a freshman in high school. There weren't really any wrestling schools around here in Virginia that I knew of. And the ones that I did know about, they were all the way in Northern Virginia. And my mom, she wasn't going to drive me 2-3 hours to go to a wrestling school. So unfortunately, we didn't have anything around here. And I graduated in 2007. And, it was just one of those things where it's just like I would see the people who I really enjoyed watching growing up. Like for my favorite tag team is the Dudley Boys. I always wanted to, slam somebody through a table, which I have not done yet when I was wrestling. But yeah, the Dudleys, The Rock, Macho Man Randy Savage, those are just some of my favorite wrestlers. And I was just like, I want to do this. So 2012 is when I found out about this school in Virginia Beach called Southside Pro Wrestling. And the girl that I was dating at the time, she had told me about it. And I had went to one of their indie shows. This was the first indie wrestling show that I had went to it was Uprising 2. And the main event was Dustman Mark Anthony versus Rikishi. Now, growing up, I was a huge Rikishi fan. Like me, my brother, and my cousin, we used to do the Too Cool dance and stuff like that. And I used to always love doing Rikishi's part because, I'm a big guy. I like to eat well. So, of course, I was Rikishi. There's no way that I was doing the worm when I was a kid. So I went to that show and I talked with some of the wrestlers there, and they suggested that I go to Southside Pro Wrestling, and I had went there. I want to say the following week I had went there, and that's the origin story of Benjamin Banks.
All right.
I'll go next.
Go ahead.
So, growing up as a young Benjamin Banks, what was the wrestler that you hated the most, like despised as a kid?
This is a really, really, really good question. For me, the wrestler because growing up, honestly, like I wasn't really into wrestling when I was a kid. I was one of those guys where it's like I watched it when I was a kid, but then it's like I reached that age where I was just like, I'm not watching wrestling because it looks dumb. And I remember I was watching Monday Night Raw. My cousins were over, and I had saw The Rock wrestling. And I was just like, yo, who is this guy? Like, The Rock is like one of my favorite wrestlers. I don't know if you guys can see the picture behind me, but I'm a huge anime nerd, and My Hero Academia is one of my favorite animes right now. And the main character, for those who are watching that don't know what My Hero Academia is, it's a superhero anime, and the main character's name is Izuku Midoriya. His hero name is Deku, and Deku, who I have here on the table with me right now, he's somebody that I was able to relate to because I know, like, I snowball a lot. This is something that we do on my podcast, but Midoriya, he was somebody that was always told that he'll never be a hero because he didn't have a quirk. And that was something that I used to go through coming up, saying that, oh, you'll never be a wrestler, like it's fake, like all this negative stuff. But I never lost hope in wanting to become a wrestler. And The Rock being my favorite wrestler, Deku's favorite hero is All Might. So it's me as Deku, The Rock is All Might. The person that I hated back when I got back into wrestling, it would probably have to be Triple H. It was just something about that guy.
Oh, okay.
I was not a fan. I hated him, especially after what he did to Test, when Test and Stephanie McMahon were supposed to be getting married, and Triple H played that video and was like, they got married. Like, I hated that guy. My brother, he loved Triple H. And like, that was one of the reasons why I hated my brother when we was kids. Cause I'm just like, how do you like Triple H? But yeah, I grew to like him as I got older, but when I was a kid, like, I hated Triple H, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he did his job as a heel. Like,
yeah.
Like, what's like, as your Triple H, like, he knows what he was doing as a heel. Like, he's just a natural heel. Like,
I agree. I 100% agree. It's like the heel is doing their job if they can get you to hate them. You're not supposed to like the heel.
Look at JBL.
JBL was a good heel too. Now it's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy that I say that you're not supposed to like the heel, but for me, like, my favorite heel when I was before I started watching the Attitude Era, it was Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man.
Yes.
It was just something about him, man. Just the laugh that he did, the money. He's kind of somebody who inspired me as well to get into wrestling. But yeah, I actually had the opportunity to meet him back when I was a teenager, and it was at like this Christian concert that my aunt had took me to because he's very religious and he had turned his life around after everything that he had went through. And I remember they had showed him on screen, and like they showed the stuff that he was doing, like, making people bounce the ball or doing the push-ups. And I remember everybody in the building was booing this man. And I was the only person in there cheering for him. I'm just like, what's wrong with you people? You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, these are the same people, when they showed Dragon Ball on the screen, everybody was booing. And I'm just like, who boos Dragon Ball? Like, it's like I knew that I was in the wrong place when all of these Christian kids were booing Dragon Ball. Like, Dragon Ball is one of the greatest animes of all time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right, man. Go ahead, Josh.
This is a question that pretty much I ask everybody if they still watch it today. What is your favorite wrestling promotion?
My favorite wrestling promotion right now is AEW. I just love
AEW.
I love, and Josh, I see you got the AEW hat on, so it's like that's something that I caught. As soon as you came on the screen, I was just all right. Like, he's an AEW fan. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, AEW is my favorite promotion right now. I just love the surprises that we always get with them.
For example, Leo Rush at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, seeing Mark Henry there as well. Mark Henry is another one of my favorites. And then seeing Sting wrestle again. I mean, like, I know we saw him.
Yeah.
We had saw him at the one pay-per-view. I'm mad I can't remember it, but Revolution, yeah, where him and Darby Allin, where they had faced Team Taz in a street fight. But
that was a good match.
It was a good match, but it was a street fight though. But it was just awesome seeing Sting, like, do his thing, because that's one of the things. Like, Sting, he's another one. He's a guy who I look up to, who I really appreciate it, because Benjamin Banks, like, every time when I come out to the ring when I'm a face, I always yell. You know what I'm saying? I took that from Sting, because it's like, who didn't love Sting? You know what I'm saying? And for him to be in his 60s and he can still go and still, have everybody eating out of the palm of his hand like that, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Sting is the man. But yeah,
Yeah,
AEW.
he got that crowd. He got that crowd at Daly's place hyped up to see him again.
Yeah. When he first came out on the episode of Dynamite and like it was snowing and everything, because me and my friends were watching it and we thought it was Shaq because Shaq had been rumored to be facing Cody, and when we saw the snow and we saw all the other stuff and it was Sting, like we lost it. So I feel like that's one of the cool things about wrestling. When you can have those jaw-dropping moments and be entertained and amazed and surprised all at the same time. So yeah, AEW, they do a really good job at that.
Yeah.
Props to Tony Khan for a good job.
Yeah. The thing is, I like how AEW is kind of a different type of wrestling promotion where they have, the owners of the company just don't own a football team that's in the NFL.
Yeah.
They allow the AEW talent to use like the practice facility, and they use like if you saw at Double or Nothing, the Inner Circle, they fought in like a walk-in freezer.
Yeah.
Like, who does
yeah.
that?
Right.
Yeah.
I bet they're cold.
And the thing you were saying about the thing too, when I saw like snow, I'm like, huh? I'm like, snow. And then as soon as I saw like the bird, I'm like, that's Sting. Now, because the crow is Sting.
Yep.
That's Sting,
gave away
right.
a little surprise.
I missed that crow. I was like, because me and Jason and Josh were on a call, and we saw it sounded like a little bit like the Crow theme song, but kind of like a guitar version of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were on call, and I remember, and they remember this. I screamed out like the loudest, the top of my lungs as I can. I was like, Sting!
Ooh, together mode.
Who put together mode on here?
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all right, man.
I'm sorry.
We all together.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right. Hey, at least we're all together.
I'm sorry. I was trying to change the view, and I hit together mode. I'm so sorry, guys.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right.
Hey,
It's okay,
together.
Hey, at least we're together.
I know, right?
Yeah. Anyways,
okay. I want to go to my question.
You as a wrestler, do you prefer working as a heel or a babyface?
Ooh, really good question. I really enjoy working as a face. Early on in my career, I worked as a heel, which I do love. I love talking crap. You know what I'm saying? I love getting people angry. I love getting people mad. And like I'm a really, really, really good person that can make people mad. But it's just something about being the face, because it's like when you're the face, it's just like you're the hero of the story. But the same thing can be said about the heel, because a villain is the hero of his own story. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't think that he's doing anything wrong. He thinks that he's doing everything right and is justified for what he's doing. But I really like being a hero. I mean, not a hero. I like being a face. I like being a face because it's just something about like having the crowd behind you, and I'm a very positive person, so I motivate a lot of people as well. So it's like that kind of carries over to me in the ring as well. So I prefer being a face over a heel. But if I had the opportunity to become a heel again, I would do it, and I would be so good at it. Yeah.
Okay.
I understand. Yeah, I think
Right.
a face is good, but being a heel at the same time is also pretty fun to do because you're the villain. You're kind of like the a-hole, basically. You're basically the a-hole kind of guy, and I don't know why. It's just like when we get older, whatever, like we want to be more the villain instead of the face.
Yeah.
But being a face is also pretty good too because you got the crowd behind you. Some of the crowd does pump her up, like.
Yeah.
For example, like Daniel Bryan, the crowd kind of does need them, and all this type of stuff, and
And for every child's hero, John Cena, he's like the one guy that never turned like heel.
Yep.
Well, he was heel back in his like back in the when he was the doctor at Thugonomics. Now that was when, but mainly John Cena was a face the rest of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, a question question I do have in mind. And I asked this question last time we did an interview. What was the entrance that gave you like chills? Is like an entrance that you just is your favorite?
They gave me chills. It would probably have to be Kane. I remember when I was a kid, just seeing, the red lights and hearing the creepy music. Like there were times where I had to, just turn the channel and hope that his entrance was over by the time that I turned the channel back. But yeah, like that really gave me chills when
I
was
feel you, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was just something about
pyro came so sudden too.
Yeah, and it's hot. I mean, I remember the first time I'd ever went to a WWE show, and we were sitting all the way up in the nosebleeds, and we could feel the fire from where we were at, and I was just like, I did not want to be close to that.
Hey, at least keep your seat warm. At least keep your seat warm.
I had that when I saw Kane live for the first time.
Yeah, same here.
Mm-hmm. Now, I wanted to kind of piggyback off of the Hill question, and I wanted to say that there was this time, it was Valentine's Day, and I had a bunch of hotel room keys, and the guy who was managing me at the time, I had him walk around the ring and hand them to some of the girls that were in the crowd, and I was like, look here, ladies, today is Valentine's Day, and I just had my manager, Jizak 8-Track, hand you a room key so that way that you can have one lovely night with Benjamin Banks, because I know that you probably haven't been with a real man in years, and I'm sure that you're here with some chumps right now that don't know how to make you feel good. And Benjamin Banks, when you're with him, it's like being with a real man, and I'll make you feel good, real good.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, and like it was this one little kid, he was in the crowd, and he's just like, you're not gonna do anything with my mama, and I was just like, son, you just need to sit down, because by the end of the night, you're gonna be calling me daddy once I'm done with your mama. So, yeah. I love being a heel because you get to just talk so much crap to people. But yeah, like I said, just being the face is awesome. But yeah, I just wanted to share that story.
Yeah,
well,
it's like you're a heel, you do all this stuff. I mean, like you have guys like MJF who just stay in character when they're not even like doing a show. Like if you go to like a meet and greet and you see MJF, and MJF doesn't even care that you walk past them or you buy something from his table or anything. He'll just like, I don't give a shit about your friggin' money.
Yeah, he does a really, really good job at being a heel, and I love that about him because that's something that you really don't see a lot of on TV anymore, where it's somebody that you just hate because like you had said earlier, the heel's job is to make you hate them. And he does a really good job, especially, I mean, I'm happy that fans are allowed to go back to the shows, but, before then, when those AEW shows were packed when it first started, it's just like everybody hated this guy. Like he knew what to say to get under their skins. And like even on social media, like he just knows what to say to just piss people off. And it's funny when you had like Dionne Warwick. I don't know if you guys saw that, where she had came at him, and it's just like Dionne Warwick, the psychic lady, is coming at MJF right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's next? Is Oprah gonna come at him? Like, the guy, like, he does a good job.
Yeah, I met him at a meet and greet. It was for it was like a holiday toy drive at Kurt Hawkins' wrestling school. Every person that went up to his table, he just stayed in character the whole time. I'm like, that's why he's so good at what he does.
For sure.
He even flips off kids. He flips the bird. He's like,
no, I mean that's a good hit. Like there was this one show at Vanguard Championship Wrestling where I had came out to the ring and we were at Hampton High School, and like all of these kids had ran up to the barricade. And like they were trying to dap me up and everything. And this is when I was a heel. And like I was just talking so much crap to them. I was just like, y'all just need to shut up, sit down. This is like, I don't care about any of y'all. Like I'm just saying, what I'm saying now. But it was different when I was out there in character. But I remember like I made those kids cry. And like when I told them to go sit down, like they all went and sat down. And I remember I had some friends at the show, and they was just like, "Man, like I can't believe that you really made those kids cry." And I was just like, "That's what I do." Like you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
That's a heel for you.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a heel. Now, a question the question that always came to mind. You said your favorite tag team and everything. What was your favorite faction?
My favorite faction growing up was D-Generation X, and the reason why they were my favorite faction was because like those guys were outrageous. They were doing whatever they wanted to do. You know, everybody was doing the suck it, you know, chops to everybody. I remember I used to tell my mom and my grandma to suck it, and they didn't know what I was doing. I used to do it. I used to tell my teachers to suck it, and I did get in trouble for that one. But yeah, I mean, D Generation X, yeah, that was my favorite group growing up back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say this: you don't have a child if you don't you don't tell the teacher to suck it as a child. You don't have a childhood.
Yeah, like for real. Like I didn't know, like back then, I didn't know what The Rock was. I didn't know what he meant when he was saying strudel or poo-tang pie, right? And I remember I was standing in the lunch line, and like somebody had asked me, they was just like, "Hey Banks, what's your favorite pie?" And I was just like, "It's poo-tang pie," just like The Rock. And then the teacher, he was walking by, and he pulled me out of line, and he gave me detention because he said, "You're not supposed to be saying stuff like that in school." And I was just like, "But that's The Rock's favorite pie. Like, why can't I have any poo-tang pie?" Like, and I was a kid, I didn't know.
Right. Like they think when they think you watch wrestling and you say all this shit the next day at school, they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, they said something so bad. Give them detention for 1 week or something." I'm like, I was about to say, because I did the DX suck it thing in school one time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get in trouble. No one saw me do it. I did it when I was at recess. Because me and my friends were just fooling around. We didn't get in trouble. No one said a word to us. And I would say, if someone got caught, you have no childhood. Do you even know what wrestling is? Apparently you don't.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about wrestling. I always feel like it's kind of like anime in the way too, where it's like you have to be in the know to understand what's going on, because it's just like you said, doing the crotch chops. It's like if you weren't watching wrestling, like you wouldn't even know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that I loved about wrestling growing up, and one of the things that I do, like when I put my pinky up for the Golden Pinky Society, I love signature hand symbols and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like when The Rock tells people to just bring it, or when Macho Man puts his finger up to the sky, Daniel Bryan doing the yes chant. You know, it's always interesting. That was an interview that I had watched with Daniel Bryan, where he said that, and this is when I had first got into the wrestling business, and he said that you want to do something that is easy for everybody to do, because it's like everybody can say yes, everybody can do the yes chant, and like with the Golden Pinky, everybody can put their pinky up. You know what I'm saying? So it is definitely a cool thing when I would come out to the ring and, you know, a crowd of people just have their pinkies up. You know what I'm saying? Or when I'm in the match, it's like when I put that pinky up, you know that you know, it's about to go down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
all right, you go, Josh. You got your question?
all
right, go ahead.
Yeah, so I have another question. So, so when you started wrestling, but you know everything stopped due to the pandemic, and you know we had to be locked in. What did you keep yourself occupied during quarantine? Like, how did you stay like happy and while you're in your house, pretty much?
Well, for me, you know, I was already doing my podcast, and I want to say that's, you know, our podcast, it kind of blew up during the quarantine and whatnot, because it's like we just had more time to interview more people. Then when we started our YouTube channel, so it's like we started reviewing stuff. But yeah, I mean, like that's what I was doing. That working out from home. Then once the gyms open back up, you know, just going back to the gym. But yeah, I mean, like it's been a hard year. because of the pandemic, and then before the pandemic even came, like I had got my pinky broken. I was in a wrestling match at VCW, and we were supposed to face Simply Safeish, and we ended up getting attacked from behind by the Dirty Blondes, and they ended up breaking my pinky, this one right here, and I had to wear a cast and everything, and it just sucked. It really sucked. I still worked out at the gym, but I'll say that, and this was before the pandemic, it was just hard trying to, still lift weights or just doing the normal things that I would normally do at the gym, because it's like you can only do so much when you have a cast on your hand, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like when you grab a dumbbell, you know what I'm saying? It's like you need the whole hand, but if I'm grabbing the dumbbell like this and my pinky's in the way, and that was something that sucked too, because I could only lift, so heavy. I couldn't lift like what I was normally benching and stuff like that, because I didn't want to injure myself too bad. But yeah, I mean, like during the pandemic and everything, just trying to stay in shape, trying to keep working out, doing the podcast stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing. Yeah.
All right, it was the same for us too. We started our podcast during the pandemic too, cause
this one.
Yeah,
nice.
And then it kind of just blew up, kind of like during it, because we had, like you said, we had more time to interview people, and we had more time to do episodes and review pay-per-views and do whatever related to wrestling, because we couldn't go out.
Same thing for our podcast for music too.
Yeah.
Same thing for our music podcast too. That we do too as well.
Yeah.
So, a question I have. So, what hobbies do you have outside of doing this kind of stuff?
Outside of wrestling, I mean, of course, I love anime. I'll say that I want to say it was a couple years ago, like I really got back into anime, and again, it's because of My Hero Academia. Like I had took a break from watching it, and I started watching My Hero Academia, fell in love with it, then I started watching other animes. I'm always at the gym. The gym is life. And then, in my free time, if I can, like I'll go to the arcade. Before the pandemic, I was always going to the movies, which sucked, because it's like the movie theater by my house, like the tickets were only like $5, and to just go to the theater whenever new movies came out, and I'm a huge movie buff.
Same, yeah.
But
same here.
But yeah, just that, going to the arcades if I do have time, reading some manga, and just going to breweries, going to different restaurants and stuff like that. That's the stuff that I like to do. Is there anything else I like to do? Sometimes I'll play video games. I normally don't have a lot of time, because usually, I'm always interviewing somebody or I'm reviewing somebody. I mean, even like with this tonight, like after I'm done on this interview, I have to go and interview somebody on my podcast. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
right.
I'm constantly busy, and I'll say to you guys too, like you guys are doing an awesome job. For my podcast, we just reached over 6,000 downloads, and one of the things that I like to tell people that are doing podcasts is that it's a hard business, and it's something that you have to keep doing. You got to keep grinding. You got to keep promoting yourself. You got to keep putting stuff out there. It's just like, don't give up just because the numbers aren't moving. You know what I'm saying? Keep sliding in the DMs. Keep sliding in there until somebody finally says yes. Like go on their post. Like, hey, I'm Benjamin Banks. I want you on my podcast. Just keep doing it. Like that's what I tell anybody that wants to, do the podcast, or if you want to do anything.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you want to become a professional wrestler, man, it's just like you got to give it your all. Like even once you start wrestling, it's just like everything isn't going to be handed to you. You know what I'm saying? You have to stay humble. You have to work hard, and you have to keep on grinding. And then it's just like the success will come. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, man.
All right, I'll go ask. I'll go.
Go ahead, Lucas.
So, what is your favorite finisher?
Ooh, favorite finisher. it's always a toss-up. I do like the Stone Cold Stunner, but
The Stunner.
I do like the Rock Bottom. I'll say when I was younger, I was more into the Rock Bottom, but then when I got older, I was more into the Stone Cold Stunner. Even the F5 as well. Back when I was in high school, I just used to love picking anybody up over my shoulder, like Brock Lesnar, and have them in the F5 position. It was just something fun about that. So yeah, it would have to be between those three. But if I had to choose one, it would definitely be the Stunner.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
especially how The Rock sells it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, but that Rock Bottom though, man, it was always interesting how I remember this match with him and Booker T, and I remember the finish to the match was Booker T went to do the bookend, and then The Rock had got out of it, and he went, I think, yeah, The Rock got out of it, and then Booker T, he came running at him, and then he tried to do a clothesline, and then The Rock ducked the clothesline, and when Booker T turned around, The Rock hit the Rock Bottom, and I was just like, yo, like I lost my mind when I was a kid and I saw that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so
Go ahead, Jason.
what is your favorite event you attended as a fan?
My favorite event that I attended would have to be WrestleMania 29. That was
Mania 29?
Yeah, that was the first WrestleMania that I had ever gone to. It's the only WrestleMania that I have ever gone to, and it's just interesting. The story behind that one is I remember WrestleMania 28. Was it 28? Hold on, 29 was in Florida, right?
29 was in MetLife.
Okay, New York,
Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay, so which one was in? Yeah, because that was the rematch between The Rock and John Cena. That's right. So,
28 was the year before in Miami. I think that's the one you're talking about right there.
yeah, which one? Oh yeah, you're right. So, because I'm trying to remember. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart. I just know that 28. Okay, so it was WrestleMania 28 was the year where I watched it on TV, and they had made the announcement that WrestleMania 29 was going to be in New York City. And I remember I was sitting and I was watching it with my friends, and I had told everybody in the room that next year I'm going to WrestleMania since it's in New York. And within that same year, that was the year that I had started training to become a professional wrestler. So, it was awesome that, not only did I go to WrestleMania that year, but I had also started training to be a pro wrestler. And I had went to a bunch of the indie shows in the area. And, I met some of the people who I grew up watching. And one of those people was MVP. And MVP.
Okay.
And so many of the guys that were there, like they had given me advice, but MVP was the guy who I really wanted to talk to get some advice from. But also too at this show, I can't remember the promotion, but this was supposedly Necro Butcher's last match, and he had it against New Jack, and that was my first time ever seeing either one of them live, and it was cool because it's just like, you heard the stories about the New Jack matches and how the music was going to play.
Yeah.
And rest in peace New Jack as well. And I'm so happy that I was able to see him in action. And my tag partner Diamond Victor Griff, he was actually trained by New Jack when New Jack had a wrestling school up in Richmond, Virginia. So it's just it's cool how everything is in a giant web and we're all linked together in a way.
Yeah. Like you were saying about New Jack, I actually got a chance to meet New Jack like in January of it was this year, yeah.
Mhm.
Along with his tag team partner Gary Wolf when they were known as the Pitbulls, but I just went for New Jack because the things about New Jack, like him, that match he had where he threw that Vic Grimes off that scaffolding and the whole
God.
Oh, yeah.
and then watching his Dark Side of the Ring documentary, which is a great series for those of you that haven't checked it out watching this episode. Dark Side of the Ring explains a lot of stuff behind the scenes. It's something you should definitely watch if you're a big like wrestling fan behind the scenes and whatnot. But when I heard New Jack passed away, it was so shocking because I'm like, he was just in my area in January, and he was so crazy.
No, yeah, I agree, man. It's one of those things. You know, we lost a lot of people this year. You know,
Right.
you know, one of my favorite rappers, DMX, he passed away this year, and like it was such a shock. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
he's somebody who I would have had loved to, you know, had the opportunity to go to one of his concerts or something like that. But I have all of his albums, and you know, rest in peace to DMX as well.
Right.
Right.
So another question that I had in mind: growing up, or just overall, what was your favorite theme song?
Favorite theme song? It was definitely Hollywood Rock's theme song. If I had to choose one,
yes.
Just the whole start of, you know, like when they would show Hollywood, and you know that is cooking part comes on, and then man, it was I feel like that was his best song. Man, I mean, I could go on for days about like favorite theme songs. I really enjoyed Eddie Guerrero's theme song too.
Eddie Guerrero. Latino Heat.
It was the one that he had before he passed away. Not when he was heel Eddie. I want to say this was the one that he had when he was feuding with Rey Mysterio, and it was a cell phone that rung, and then
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was my ringtone. It's like, rest in peace Eddie Guerrero too. But that if I'm going to say songs, it's that, The Rocks, and MVP. Like, man, MVP. Like I said, he's one of my favorites, man. Like when that era came where like they were having like new wrestlers come in, like him, Carlito, you know, like those two guys right there were like two of my favorites when it was the not Ruthless, was it Ruthless Aggression, or yes. what was the era after the Ruthless Aggression era?
Was it PG?
It's like I feel like there's
I think it's the Attitude Era.
Well, it's the Attitude Era, then it's the Ruthless Aggression era, and then there's something that's like right in between Ruthless Aggression and the PG era. I can't remember what it was called, and I remember like WWE, they had put it on their website a long time ago for what this era was called, but it was kind of like a transitional era because a lot of the guys that were around during the Attitude Era, like they kind of weren't there anymore, and you had a lot of newer guys there. Yeah. I guess it was the Ruthless Aggression. It could have been.
It could have been like the PG Ruthless Aggression, but yeah, like what you were saying about guys like MVP and Carlito. I started watching wrestling during that when those guys were big in 2009 to 2010, but then I went back to the 2008 stuff and watched all that. Mm-hmm. But 2009 was mainly like when I started to get really into it, and then now like I'm such a big fan now, it's even more insane. But those two guys were definitely like two main pieces of like my childhood, pretty much, because half these guys are gone now and they're doing better things. But you know, never say never. They could always come back whenever.
Yeah, the thing about if you see Koweïta with his apple, you know something about to go down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree.
You're about to spit in your face if you're not cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I 100% agree. Yeah, it was awesome meeting Carlito as well. I had the opportunity to meet him. He was at that same show that MVP was at, and then I got to meet him again when he wrestled at VCW, and that was pretty cool. It was really cool. It's always cool when you know, you get to meet people who you grew up watching on TV.
Yep.
Always an honor. Okay, so
always.
So, I just lost my. Oh, I did. So, well, okay. So, what was the match that you like? Damn, I was just wanting to be a professional wrestler. Where is that match? You just like, this is what I want to do.
The match that, I mean, I kind of feel like it wasn't a match. I feel like it was more of an overall just feel of things. Just pretty much anything that The Rock did was what kind of, inspired me to want to get into the ring, just because of, how he was on the microphone, how energetic he was. Like, I mean, there's a reason why he's the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. But it was just the energy that he brought to the table. All of the three big matches with Stone Cold at WrestleMania 15, and then at 18, not 18, WrestleMania 15, 16, and then no, I'm wrong again. It's 15, 17, and 19. There we go.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, but those matches, if I'm gonna say like one of my favorite matches, it would probably have to be MVP versus Chris Benoit at WrestleMania 23. Like, that was the match that made me a real big fan of MVP when he came through that Jumbotron. And I mean, Chris Benoit, he was already an amazing wrestler. You know what I'm saying? So to have that match at WrestleMania and the energy in that match, it was so good, man. And that was one match that I like to say. I guess you can say it kind of inspired me too. Like, I mean, it's a ton of matches that you can say, but like, I'm more of, energy and charisma and stuff like that. Like, I love the promos that I would see backstage and whatnot. And The Rock is one of those guys that made me want to get into the wrestling ring.
Nice.
And okay, so, yeah, I think The Rock is one of the most charismatic, one of those energetic and charismatic like superstars of all time. Like, there's a reason why he is most electrifying, man. Like, if you see him on the mic, you know something about to go down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say this: I think Highway Rock, which from 2000, I think probably that is the best version of The Rock.
I agree.
Because this man, he's like trash city everywhere you go. He trash Sacramento. I always say Seattle, Sacramento, and he trash Toronto. And I remember, and I was watching this the other day. I remember when he was coming out. Yeah, it was Sacramento. He was singing about because The Rock and Austin was like that match at WrestleMania 19.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And Sacramento, and he was saying Sacramento, on stay. And then the one that really sticked out was like, I'll be sure to come back when the Lakers beat the Kings in May. And they started booing. And The Rock, The Rock had a fun time.
Yeah. I just like he was trashing about Canada. He's like, you're all a bunch of Toronto, but you're all a Maple Leaf suck.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, great mic work.
Yeah. If you know Canadians, they love their maple syrup and they love hockey. So,
yeah. No, yeah.
Yes.
No, I mean, I agree with everything that everyone has said. I mean, he does a really good job at pissing people off, and when he's a heel, and then he does a really good job at getting people to cheer for him when he's a face. I always remember the promo where he was and your house started to shake, the heavens opened up, and God himself came to you and said this, Bob, but my name's Bill. It doesn't matter what your name. And I was just like, bro.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Yeah.
There's a DVD. There's a DVD that I got. And I think that had the same one. That same promo. It's like an extra. And I watched that promo. It was a Rock DVD. I think it was, I don't remember which one. I think it was the most electrifying man one. And this, he has so many funny moments. Like one of the Coachman is when he put his foot up, up his butt.
Yeah.
Get your monkey ass out of
there. Yeah. I love that one too. Yeah, that was because Coachy was dancing. and that was a good one too, man. Yeah. I think it was his second DVD, I believe. I got it somewhere. It's somewhere in my collection. But yeah.
I have to. But yeah, it was okay. So, wait. Last mine.
It's cool.
Jason, you got a question?
Anyways, the last question I'm gonna ask is, if you could change anything about the professional wrestling industry, what would it be?
If I could change anything, Honestly, I don't think that there's anything that needs to be changed. I mean, I feel like because there's so many companies out there, there's something for everyone. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like if you don't like
Yeah.
what one company is doing, you can easily go and watch something else, and then vice versa. If I can compare it to anything, it's like a bag of Skittles. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody has their favorite flavor that's in that bag. Everybody's not gonna like the same flavor, and like that's the cool thing about Skittles is because it's just like you're gonna eat all of them, but you have your favorite, and like that's how it is with wrestling. It's like even if there's a company that you don't like, there might be something in that company that you do like. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's not gonna like the same stuff, so. I think that everything is good right now. And, like I said earlier, like I really like AEW. So, yeah, I don't really think that anything needs to be fixed right now. Now, you know what? If anything, I just want to see more companies, like some of the bigger companies, just work together more. That's one thing that I would love to see.
Yeah.
Because I love with what they're doing in AEW, where it's like you have Kenny Omega, he's the AEW and the TNA champion, and then he has belts in Mexico as well, and soon he'll possibly have belts in Japan. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that would be
man. Yeah.
that would be huge if you see Kenny Omega appear on Friday Night SmackDown. And then you get Kenny Omega versus Roman Reigns. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you know how huge that would be? You know what I'm saying? So
that would be big.
I feel like we're in the era now where it's like people, they love crossovers. It's just like when you watch your favorite movies or your favorite TV shows and you get a crossover. I mean, we saw with Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame. Like, who would ever thought that we would have seen like that many heroes from different movies in one movie together? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
It's anything is possible.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And speaking of AEW, what is like currently like one of your favorite AEW wrestlers? You can just name like them top of your head if you have to.
Of course I said Kenny Omega, John Moxley, because it's like I was a fan.
Moxley.
I was a fan when he was in WWE as Dean Ambrose, but it's just like John Moxley is just a whole nother animal. And I love everything that he does, from his promo work to what he does in the ring. But if that's somebody that's been around for a while, if I'm going with somebody that's newer, that's a fresh young guy in the world of wrestling, I would definitely go with Jungle Boy.
Jungle Boy.
Yeah, he's amazing in the ring, and I just saw this. He posted this photo of his AEW action figure, and you know how when he comes out to the ring, he's usually on Luchasaurus's shoulders. Well, his dad, Luke Perry, he had a 90210 figure, and he put his action figure on top of his dad's shoulders, and I thought that was really sweet. So yeah, rest in peace, Luke Perry as well. And if you don't know who Luke Perry is, look him up, man. The man is a national treasure.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Add this when you were saying like what companies we change. The thing with AEW that grasps a lot of people to watch it more than WWE right now, it's because I remember the press conference when they announced what they were gonna do, and it was in Jacksonville. It was the very first day we heard AEW was gonna be a new company and new stars were gonna be named, and it's a new organization. I liked how they didn't care if you were gay, lesbian, what sexuality you are. If they see potential in you, they're gonna sign you and they're gonna do big things with you and make you a big star.
Yep.
I mean, with WWE, they just do the exact opposite. They don't care who comes up from NXT. When the fans realize that these talent are good in NXT and that Triple H is doing an amazing job, better than his father-in-law, who should be at home now, just enjoying retirement. I mean, Vince is that guy you hate with a passion, but it's time for somebody else to step up to the WWE and take ownership. I like to see what Triple H would do with both NXT and WWE if I had to make an opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
No, I mean, no, that's a good take. it's like I know that that's something that a lot of people have said over the years is that that Vince needs to step down, but I mean, you got to give it to the man. It's just like he's been doing this for a long time, and his company is still on top. And you know, I like to say one of those things where it's just like if it's not broken, then don't fix it. And I understand like why some people would be upset with the way that WWE is going right now. And I love how you had mentioned in AEW where it's just like, you know, it's a company really for, you know, anybody. I mean, WWE is the same way too, but I love that you know, we live in a world now where it's just like wrestling, just like with anime and comics and video games, it's for everyone. And you know, it does piss me off when because it is Pride Month, and you know, like you do still have idiots out there that might be homophobic or transphobic. Like, you know, some of the people, like, they'll come at Nyla, and like Nyla, like she's good. She's a treasure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it pisses me off when, like, you know, you have these scumbags, slime balls, you know, that go online and try to come at her. And it's just like, well, what are you doing? Like, I mean, like you're a nobody. And for you to come and attack her like that, like that's messed up. I know that there was a situation where there was a wrestler who had he went online and was saying some stuff about her. And it's just like, dude, like we're all in the same business together. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you're making yourself look like a clown because you're coming at her because she's trans. Like, who, like, bro, it's 20, I think this happened in 2019 or something. Like, it's 2019, it's 2021 now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
It pisses me off that people people think that because that they can go online and say what they want to say,
of course,
that you know, that they can say it. But it's just like, nah, like just because you have the option and the right to say it doesn't mean that you have to say it, you know.
Yeah. It's like with Hana Kimura that happened during like the pandemic.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. It was like,
R.I.P.
It was like, why would you come at somebody who actually had success and then you hiding behind a screen on the internet saying all this stuff made her do the unthinkable and take her own life, which is something you shouldn't do, but it depends on the emotions and then the way you feel, because it's like now we live in a world where we're not said things verbally to each other. There could be stuff said verbally online and on other like apps that people use. It could even be on video games too. It could be like when you're playing a game with people and you have like your headset on and they're just saying stuff. You're like, we don't know you. Like, why are you saying all this?
No, I agree. Like, social media is definitely a double-edged sword. It has its pros and it has its cons. And, you know, it sucks that she took her life because you had these clowns online, you know, just pretty much bullying her. And, like, I'm a huge advocate when it comes to bullying. And it's like, I know that not everyone can stand up for themselves. And, you know, it's definitely, you know, a tolerance level and, you know, whether you're comfortable, you know, because a lot of people, like, they're not good with confrontation. And I'll always say, you know, if you see somebody being bullied, then go do something about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what heroes do. Like, heroes, they stand up for people who can't stand up for themselves. And, you know, you never know what somebody's going through. You never know what's going on at home, you know? So it's just like the people that think that they can say whatever they want to say to people, F you, you know, I'll say that. But like bullying isn't the route to go. And if they're bullying, it's because their lives are miserable, you know?
Yeah. So a question that I do have, what is the dream opponent that you want to face?
My dream opponent for me, it would definitely be MVP. I know that I've mentioned him a couple of times up here already, but that's somebody that I would love to have the opportunity to share the ring with.
Okay. All right, nice.
This is if we're gonna answer this question for me personally, is Rey Mysterio, because I remember that Rey Mysterio is one of my idols. That he actually got me into wrestling first. It was WrestleMania 22 when he beat Kurt Angle and Randy Orton.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that just brought the ultimate story, and that got me into it. I was like, this is what I want to watch. This is what I wanted to watch. I did not want to do it because I have my own things to do. But seeing that just gave me chills. I'm getting chilled. But I will love to meet him or share the ring with him. That will be awesome because he's one of my idols.
Yeah. Now, for me, if I had like any dream opponents, it would be I would like to explore not just one promotion. I would like to go to different promotions and fight a lot of these talents. I watch a lot of the different promotions. I'm not just one of those people that watches just WWE. I watch AEW, Impact, New Japan, and so on. But if I had to go with AEW to start off, I love to face Orange Cassidy. I feel like that would just be something, just to share the ring with Orange Cassidy.
Orange Cassidy.
Probably second. I love to share the ring with Darby Allin for sure.
Yeah, there's Orange Cassidy.
Those are two good choices.
And then probably third, I'd have to go with Kenny Omega.
Oh, Kenny Omega.
You have to have a match with Kenny, and it's gonna be, 5-star Kenny. I call him because he's that guy who's gonna put on a match like that. And another one, this guy's been one of my role models for a long time, and it's Chris Jericho. So
yeah, Jericho's the GOAT. I like to say, Chris Jericho is the Ric Flair of this generation, man. Right. He's been everywhere. He's done everything. I compare him to Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels. He's definitely that person.
But for WWE, I like to share the ring with Edge because
I can't say it. My mind just read it.
I mean, I always idolized Edge since I was a kid, and just I always hated him as a kid. But then as I got older, I loved him even more.
Yeah.
But him and Rey Mysterio are like the top two because I idolize Rey Mysterio like Lucas has, and because Rey Mysterio, I mean, all these guys were my childhood, like Mysterio, Jericho, Cena. Like, I want to share the ring with a lot of the guys I grew up with. So that's the main.
Yeah, those are good choices too. And then, like how you said about Edge and Rey Mysterio, they were a tag team.
Right.
Oh yeah, they were. I forgot about that.
And they won the tag titles. And then it's kind of like with Edge. He teamed up with Hulk Hogan, and then him and Hulk Hogan won the tag titles.
Oh yeah, I got a DVD.
Now, to kind of piggyback and rewind it a little bit, I ended up, like how I said, D-Generation X was my favorite stable growing up. I ended up teaming up with Billy Gunn at VCW, and that was an awesome feeling. You know what I'm saying? Because this is somebody who I grew up watching on TV, and to team with him, to team with Bob, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, that was kind of like my Edge moment where it's just like, I can't believe that I'm teaming with, somebody I grew up watching. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like now Billy Gunn, he's in AEW now with his sons, and his sons are a faction along with, the Nightmare Family. It's just like Billy Gunn ditched his friends to go to a new company where he's now doing a lot of bigger things with his two kids that are trying to I'm not going to say expand, I'm trying to say carry on that legacy. Because Billy Gunn's not going to wrestle not forever, but he's still God bless him at his age now, and he's still doing this.
He's still got it.
Yeah. What about you, Jason? Who, if you could share the ring with somebody, who would it be?
It would have to be John Cena or The Undertaker.
Those are good choices.
Those two are the main reasons I became a fan of professional wrestling, actually.
Just don't get tombs.
Anyways, do we have any more questions here?
No.
Anyways, so it's time to get to our outros, actually. So, thanks for watching this episode of Crash and Burn Behind the Ring, where we had our 4th ever interview, and hope you all enjoyed. Subscribe to this podcast and to our music show called The Moshcast, where you can see us do some album reviews. So, yeah. So again, hope you all enjoyed and have a good one. Josh.
All right. Thank you guys for watching the fastest rising podcast in professional wrestling, the one and only Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast. Be sure to check out our interview here with Benjamin Banks once it's uploaded.
Benjamin Banks.
Follow,
yes, sir.
Follow Benjamin on his socials as well. Also, be sure to tune into SmackDown and Friday Night Dynamite tonight.
Dynamite.
If you're wondering if you're up in
it's on my screen right now.
AEW is on Friday due to the NBA playoffs being on, so that's why they transitioned over to Friday for, I think, 2 episodes. They should be back to the normal schedule after, I think, the playoffs is done or something like
probably as soon as you head back on the road.
So, also check out the fastest rising podcast and the loudest podcast on all the music, the Moshcast.
Moshcast.
Review albums. We also are going to have an interview coming soon on there. We have some interviews on there already, so be sure to check those videos out and stay tuned for more content for both podcasts, interviews, and a lot of other cool stuff. So just be sure to stay on our socials as well. And one more thing I would like to promote. Me and my friends have a wrestling group called Wrestling is Everything.
Wrestling is Everything. There you go.
Here, go follow our group page on Instagram at wrestling.is.everything and go join our Facebook group. We're at 7K members right now, so it's growing really fast, which I am in shock that a lot of people keep joining each and every day. So thank you to the real ones out there. It means a lot to us. And a lot more merch is on the way, so stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
That's
all
my
right,
outro.
go ahead, Lucas.
All right, thank you guys for having me on this episode. Always good to interview with somebody. So thanks Benjamin Banks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah,
No problem.
that's all I gotta say. So I'll pass it to him.
Yep.
Hey,
End this off.
Guys, thanks for having me up here on the Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast. It was fun. You know, like I said, I haven't been interviewed in a while, so I really appreciate you guys reaching out to me. And you can find me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks on Twitter and Instagram. You can look me up on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Make sure that you follow my podcast, Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Leveling Up Banks. And I also have a YouTube where we do interviews and reviews and reactions and all that stuff. And that is Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. So make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, like my co-host D always says. And yeah, that's where you can find me at pretty much all the time. So yeah, pinkies up, everybody.
That's right. All right, have a good one, everybody. Take care.
All right, peace.